Hey Flora. You're still there? We need to talk.
Talk about what? What's wrong?
I'll just tell you straight out. It has to do with your husband, Jim. I guess you probably shouldn't consider him your husband for much longer. Since he's mine now.
Excuse me?
I'll repeat it. Jim is mine now. I'm just leaving the hotel after we had quite a fun night together.
Okay, so. You are openly admitting that you are having an affair with my husband? Is that correct?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. Well, I guess it would be more accurate to say we have been doing. It's been nearly a year since we started seeing each other.
So this has been going on for a while already.
Well, about that. I actually got a job at the company that Jim is managing. Of course, I got it specifically so I could see him more often. I'm quite a competitive employee with a fantastic work experience. So it was remarkably easy to get through the interviews. I think Jim just fell in love with me shortly after I started working there. It's almost scary how well the entire plan worked out. I may be capable, but even I didn't think it would be this easy.
So is this some side story you're going on with? Or did you just contact me to talk about the success of your grand scheme?
What do you mean?
Well, now that you've gone unexposed how you've stolen my husband. What are you planning on doing next? What's your goal here? I can't say I really care very much about some unfaithful people. So I'd like it if you would get to the point already.
What is with you? I don't understand why you're being so calm about this.
I just don't like beating around the bush.
Okay then. I'll just get on with my point too. I'm going to be taking a week off at the start of next month. As for why, I'll be going out on a trip with Jim.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, Flora. While we're on the trip, I'll be counting on you to take care of my 3 kids. You have nothing but free time. I know you can handle it.
Excuse me? Do you really expect me to agree to such an unreasonable request?
Well, after all, you don't have any choice but to agree to it.
Oh, don't I? And why might that be?
Well, because you're just a housewife who sits at home with nothing but free time. But I am an amazing single mother. I'm doing an impeccable job balancing raising my children with furthering my career.
Okay, so that didn't explain a thing. Could you actually try stating what your reason is this time? If you keep randomly going off topic about how amazing you are, I'm not going to have any idea what you're getting at.
Oh, you really are quite dull. You know that? You just don't seem to have a handle on what your place is here.
My place? What do you mean by that?
Oh, you honestly don't get it. You're living a life of complete luxury being just a simple housewife for a company president, aren't you? But what you are failing to realize is that the castle you're living in is nothing but sand. One wrong step and everything will just crumble around you. And you will tumble into a life of poverty.
Okay, let me see if I'm understanding you right. You're trying to tell me that since I don't do any work. And if I were to get divorced, I'd lose my cushy life of just living off my husband? Or in other words, you're trying to threaten me, right?
How rude! How dare you try to accuse me of doing something so troubling? I have done nothing of the sort. All I am doing is recommending that you take a look at how things currently are, nothing more. If you don't want to suddenly find yourself out on the street, then I would suggest taking care of my children while I'm out on my little trip.
So you really think you're going to get me to accept that crazy demand?
Well, yeah. I think it's a safe assumption. If a housewife like you can actually manage to understand just how dangerous of a situation you're in, I think even you could learn to be a little obedient. Or am I simply expecting too much from you?
Yes, I think you are.
Excuse me?
I am not the sort of person who would be willing to help the children of the woman my husband is cheating on. I don't even know who would be. At least for me, it is undoubtedly something I would never stop to doing.
Who do you think you are, Flora? You didn't realize this isn't the time for you to be stubborn. You don't want to get divorced, right? Think about your daughter? If you don't want to be left out under the cold winter sky with your baby girl, you really must take care of my children while I'm away. Understand? Today, I'm going out with Jim. So you know what to do, right? Take good care of my children.
I'm not surprised that I need to remind you. But I refuse to do any such thing.
Oh God, I suppose you really haven't learned a thing. For a housewife in such a powerless position to act so thoughtlessly. Do you really think you can just go against me without any repercussions? As for me, I can't say I particularly care whether or not you actually end divorced. It doesn't exactly have much of an impact on me. Though, with how things are right now, I get to have you take care of my children. Well, I get to date Jim as much as I like. I must say, the superiority I feel over you. This amazing feeling just leaves me overflowing with joy. That's why I can't say I really mind if you don't actually divorce him. But I'm afraid it's already time for us to be heading out. I've left my children at your doorstep so you can take care of them. Just deal with the rest, okay?
I don't know why I'm even surprised at how ridiculous you sound anymore. I've already told you I won't be able to take care of your children.
I don't think you're in any place to refuse as a housewife who could be thrown out by her husband at any time. I'd suggest you keep your mouth shut instead.
It would be at least half right. Except for the fact that I actually have a job now.
You have a what?
I'm no longer just a housewife. I work at an office during the day and I'm having my parents look after my daughter. I'm completely unable to take care of your children even if I wanted to.
Oh really? So you managed to pick up some little part-time job? Don't make me laugh.
There's nothing to laugh about. I'm a full-time employee.
I'm sure, I understand that you have the desire to be one. You've made that quite clear. Well anyway, have fun with my kids. Hey Flora! Pick up the phone now! Flora!
What's wrong?
Where are my children?
What? You've come back from your trip?
Yes, I have. That's why I came to pick up my children. But Jim told me that you, your daughter and all of your things that all completely vanished. What is going on here? What did you do with my kids? If you just left them there alone, I will never forgive you.
Oh, your kids? Don't worry. Everything's fine.
What about this is fine?
I imagine that your kids are with your ex-husband right now.
What? What?
Well, what else could I do? I felt I had no other choice but to contact him. He is their father after all. I got in contact with some of the other mothers in the neighborhood. Since some of their husbands used to work together with your ex-husband, they really helped me out by getting me in contact with him.
No. No. You can't be saying.
Yes, I did. 1 week ago, I got in contact with your ex-husband. After seeing for himself that you had abandoned his children on my doorstep. He took them with him right then. He took them to his parents' house.
What?
I can guarantee he's going to fight for custody of the children after seeing how horribly you treated them. So you should probably get some things prepared. I'd suggest you start figuring out how you're going to pay child support.
Are you insane? How could you have done something so utterly ridiculous? You didn't want to take care of them, so you selfishly handed them to him. I hope you realize one thing now. If you don't fix this situation right now, I'm going to make sure Jim divorces you.
Is that right?
You really have done it now. Do you even realize how stupid you have been? I should have expected as much from a pathetic housewife who thinks she could be strong. Of course you would defy me. No matter. You can fruitlessly struggle and suffer in poverty for all I care.
If you're still talking like that, then you clearly still don't understand what's going on. I told you before that I have a full-time job. Look, Kanie. The fact that I was an unemployed housewife for a year was simply an unavoidable timing issue.
What are you talking about?
I was planning on leaving my previous job because I was going to be helping my brother. The problem was that my old workplace went bankrupt before my official resignation date arrived. So, with my brother still getting everything prepared, along with my daughter finally starting school, after thinking it over and discussing it with multiple people, I decided that instead of just finding a quick job that wouldn't pan out well, I would use the time on improving myself and gain more skills that could land me something better in the future. Thanks to all of my hard work, I got a job offer from my brother's company 2 months ago. And I finally started working last week. Well, when it comes to starting work, I was actually planning on starting later. But you just had to try to act all high and mighty, didn't you? You're the one who decided to just tell me you were having an affair with my husband. And not only that, but you tried to force me to do your bidding because you felt you could get Jim to divorce me. Above all, you tried to threaten to have not only me but also my daughter thrown out on the street. So I spoke with my brother and we decided to have me start work earlier than we originally planned.
Wait. What are you talking about? You're saying that what you said last week was serious.
Yes, it was. But you just couldn't believe it, right? Anyway, I felt bad that my daughter had to get wrapped up in a conflict between adults. But neither she nor I had any particular fondness for Jim anyway. When I told her she would be staying with her grandma and grandpa that she loved so much, she was overjoyed. I was relieved too. It was at that point that I could finally calm down. Because I knew everything was going to be all right. Well, for my daughter and me anyway.
What are you talking about? There's no way I was supposed to be the one with the power here.
What? No fancy comeback today? I was at least expecting you to say I was going to burn in the deepest pits of hell for my actions or something. I'm afraid you never had any power to begin with. I've already retained an attorney and I will be moving forward with the divorce shortly. As for you, I'm sure a judge will have a field day with your utter disregard for the welfare of your children.
No way. This can't be happening.
Oh, that's right. I forgot to mention something. It's about Jim. It looks like his company is finally moving forward with firing him.
What? Jim's gonna be fired?
I don't work there, so I can't say I know the details. But from what I understand, he's been found to be violating a number of company policies. The violations run the gamut too. From illegal business dealings to discrimination and improper treatment of his female employees. I guess with that much against him, there's really no other choice but to fire him. Don't you think?
No way! Hold on! I thought he was the key to a life of luxury, but it was all a lie.
Sometimes, things aren't as they appear. Material possessions can be fleeting.
I can't believe I fell for his deception. I've lost everything I thought I had gained. But I think his company might transfer him to another branch. Ice Company has many of that, right? Plus he has been working there for 5 years. I believe that they won't treat him that bad.
Well, I don't think so. His mistake is not that small, you know. The company will find someone to fill in his gap soon. No company need a man like that. Do you get what I'm saying? Jim is in really bad situation. Maybe you should come to console him a little bit.
What? That can't be true. He always seemed so well off.
That's what you get for being a gold digger. You deserve every bit of this, Kanie.
I didn't know. I truly believed he had money.
You never cared about him, Kanie. All you care was about his wealth. And now you're left with nothing.
But, Flora, can't we find a way to reconcile? I never meant for things to turn out this way.
Reconcile? How can we, when you've shattered any trust one had in you?
I know I made a mistake, but I'm willing to make amends. Please, give me a chance.
You've shown your true colors. I can't forgive you for what you've done.
I promise, I'll change. I'll prove to you that I'm not the person you think I am.
Actions speak louder than words, Kanye. I highly doubt your sincerity. Your mistake should never be forgiven.
What is all of this? How can this be happening? Is there not a single thing that is going well for either of us anymore? It sounds like both of our lives have completely turned against us out of nowhere.
That sounds about right to me. You should get all you deserve. After you threatened my daughter, I can't say I will have any pity for you if you never get to see your children again. To say you should be ashamed of yourself is an understatement. To leave your own children on someone else's doorstep, completely ignoring how they couldn't be looked after while you gallivant off on an affair. You should count yourself lucky you're not in jail right now. You don't deserve to call yourself a mother. Well, that's enough. I've said my piece. If you've got something else to say, tell it to my lawyer. My sister thought she could steal my husband, but I got her back already.
Wait. You can't do that to me.
Why can't? Bye. Within the month, Jim and I got divorced. Thanks to how long he's been having his secret affair, he didn't have much to say for himself in divorce court. I was able to get pretty large child support and alimony payments out of him though. I'm not really expecting him to keep it up for much longer since he shortly lost his position. That could prove to be difficult as she lost her job as well. Her parents caught wind of everything. They weren't so cruel as to leave her homeless. So they threw her into a living job instead. What a happy ending for me. Hey, can I have a moment of your time? There's something I need to discuss with you.
You want to have a discussion about something? Through text messages? Why not speak to me in person instead of choosing another method? I mean, we live under the same roof after all. There's nothing amiss with having a conversation in person, you know?
Well, have you ever thought that maybe I just don't want to talk to you in person? Frankly, the very idea of talking to you face to face and looking at your visage causes me to feel queasy.
Sweetie. There's really no need to use such awful language with me. I was just making a suggestion.
Don't call me sweetie and stop trying to be my mom. You'll never be her, got it? You may have been married to my dad, but you will never be my mother ever. So stop telling me what to do. I hate it when you do that.
I see what you mean, and I am sorry if I overstepped a boundary somewhere. I didn't mean to do that. But I really don't see why something as small as this needs to turn into such a huge fight. I mean, I've been married to your father for 10 years now. We've lived together a whole decade. I would just have thought we would have gotten along better by now. Especially now more than ever, since your poor father passed. It's just the two of us, so we'll have to learn to get along better.
What? No way am I living with you any longer than I have to. I want you out of the house as soon as possible. Do you hear me?
Excuse me. I'm sorry, but you want me to leave the house.
Yeah, that's what I just said. That is what I wanted to talk to you about in the first place. Actually, I've been wanting to say this to you since Dad's funeral began the other day. Now that he's dead, you're not his wife and there's nothing else holding us together as family. You're nothing to either my dad nor I now, do you understand? And as such you have no right to be staying in this house any longer. That is why I want you out of here as soon as possible.
Wait. Hold on a second. I'm sorry, but I think that I'm following here. Where is all of this coming from all of a sudden?
Didn't you read what I just wrote? This isn't just all of a sudden, okay? You never listened to me. I never wanted you here, and I never wanted you and my dad to get married. I have always been trying to think of ways to get you out of this house, and now I have the perfect reason. I only have one mom, even if she did walk out on us years ago. And that's why I hate you so much. You just barged into our lives pretending to be someone you're not. Do you really think I could ever live with someone I felt that way about? Do you even think I would want something like that? That is why I'm taking this chance to kick you out so I never have to deal with you in my life ever again.
But... Okay, look, Salim, I have known since before we got married that you never liked me. Maybe even hated me, but I pretended not to see it. But to try and force me out of the home where I'd been living the past 10 years of my life so soon after the funeral.
That's right, and since Dad's dead, there's no one left who will speak up for you. No one else who let you into her home. Full of memories of my family, my real mom and dad, and just let you mess it all up. Besides, this house was my dad's, which means it's mine now, and I can do whatever I want with it. So just hurry up and leave already.
But Salim, if I leave now you'll be all by yourself in this big place. Have you ever lived on your own before? Do you even know how to take care of yourself?
Of course I can take care of myself. I'm 18 soon, and that's technically an adult. It's no big deal living by yourself. Do you think I'm too weak or stupid to be able to? Are you just making fun of me now?
No, Salim, of course I'm not trying to look down on you in any way. I would never. I'm just worried about you is all. Chores and cooking are one thing, but how will you get money to afford everything that comes with living alone?
Shut up and get off my back. I thought I told you that you're not my mom and you shouldn't try to be.
But you're gonna be in college soon. I'm just wondering from where you're gonna find the money you need to survive. I mean, even what you inherited from your dad won't last forever, you know?
Well, who asked you to worry about me anyways? I certainly don't remember ever asking for your input. As for money, I'll think of something and make my own way in life.
I really don't think it'll be as simple to do as you think.
How many times do I have to tell you, just mind your own business? This is why I hate talking to you. Just leave me alone already, okay? Why don't you go pack your stuff and leave like I told you?
Well, I guess if that's really how you feel about everything, then I really have no choice but to go. But can you at least give me some more time to prepare my things? I understand you want me out as soon as possible. But even so, it's not that simple, and I have lots of things I'd need to get done before I could make that happen. I haven't even gone through all your dad's things to sort through them.
No. I won't be letting you do that. Who knows what you might try to steal if I let you go through all my dad's stuff. And besides, if I let you stay any longer, then you'll just find some reason to extend your stay. And so on, and nothing will change. Did you really think I'd let you get away with that? Now I want you out of the house by the time we finish with the funeral processes. I'm his daughter, which means that I get to choose who lives in his house after he's gone. And I've decided the one person the Peter house definitely doesn't need is you. So if you really understand where I'm coming from, then you'll just shut up, pack your things, and leave.
I understand. I guess I just never realized just how strongly you felt about living together with me. I'll leave the house, I promise. And I promise that I'll never come back once I'm gone. But I just want to let you know that things might get really tough for you once I'm gone. You're not going to regret this, are you?
Me? Regret kicking you out? As if. It'll be more like a dream come true than anything.
Salim, I'm just texting to let you know that I finished moving all of my things out of the house. I also wanted to thank you for everything until now, even if we didn't always get along.
And just who told you it was okay for you to be texting me? Did I ever ask about how the move was going for you? Did I mention anything about needing a report? I think I'll just go ahead and block you. If you aren't gonna respect the fact that I never want to hear from you again.
No, you're right. I'm sorry for reaching out like this. You'll never have to see me again after this, I promise. But I do just have one last thing, concerning rent for the house. I know that this month has been a lot, so you won't have to pay this time, but starting from next month, I'm going to be collecting rent from you.
Rent? For what? The house? What are you even talking about?
Well, yes. I'm talking about the house actually. Because we've been living together as a family this whole time, it wasn't necessary, but since you don't want anything to do with me as a family anymore, that just makes me your landlord now.
Have you lost your mind or something? Just why should I have to pay you rent to keep living in my dad's house?
Why? You ask? Well, because the house is actually mine.
Wait, what? What are you talking about? I don't understand.
What? Oh, Salim, had you not heard about that? Yes, I hold the deed to the house where we all used to live.
What? That's not true. You're just lying to me. I've always lived here even before you and my dad got married. This house belongs to my family. You don't own this place, you're just lying.
Well, yes, your dad did used to have the title to the house. But I actually bought the title of the house from him some 6 or 7 years ago now, I believe. You see, your grandma was tricked by one of those telephone scammers and lost a lot of money. You might have been too young to remember, but it was a disaster for her. Well, that's when I stepped in and offered to help pay for all the debt your grandma had accumulated. Your dad was so grateful that he offered me the house then and there.
And just where did you come into so much money? I never once seen you go to work in the whole time that I've known you. You're just a housewife.
A housewife? Oh, Salim, that is just not true. I run my own company. Did you really not know about that at all?
You do what? Since when was this?
All the operations are handled online, so all the staff work remotely. We don't even have an office we could all commute to if we wanted to. I guess it would be hard to guess just because I do actually spend so much time at home. But a lot of that time I'm essentially working as company president.
That's not true. You keep lying to me.
Salim, it's not a lie, I swear it. That is how I was able to help out your grandma after she was scammed.
So you're telling me the truth?
Of course I am. I wouldn't lie to you. Do you believe me when I say the house is actually mine? Anyways, next month's rent is $2,000, okay?
$2,000? There's no way I can afford to pay that.
Well, you can't just live in a place you don't own and not pay rent. Furthermore, I recall you mentioning that being a grown-up means having the capability to pave one's own path, right?
Well, yeah, I said that. But I didn't know about all that other stuff until just now.
Well, what did you think was gonna happen? Did you think you could just come and make me cough up money for you whenever you needed it? Were you planning on trying to get me to pay for everything, while you bragged about having your house? I mean, I know an independent adult such as yourself would never.
No. Of course I wasn't planning on trying to get money out of you. It's just the $2,000 is a lot to pay all of a sudden.
Well, I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, I own the property. So if you're going to be kicking me out to live on your own, then you'll have to pay the rent to the landlord who happens to be me.
But wait. Truly we can talk this out.
Well, how about I cut you a deal? I won't make you pay a rent for the first 3 months. But after that, if I don't see any money, I'm gonna have to kick you out. Anyways, I'm a little busy right now, so we'll have to continue this talk later. I'll send all the rental paperwork to you this week. Keep an eye on your mailbox until then. Okay, see you.
Wait! Don't go! We aren't done yet. Maya, are you there? I have something I need to talk to you about.
Oh, Salim. Sure, what can I do for you?
Well, the thing is, I guess what I wanted to ask is, I'm just wondering if you've forgiven me yet.
Forgiven you? For what? What are you talking about?
Well, it's just that. I guess earlier I might have possibly lost my temper a bit and... Well, anyways, I've calmed down a bit now and realized that I might have made a little mistake.
I'm sorry, but I don't quite know what you're talking about. I realize this might be hard for you right now. But could you please just tell me what exactly you're talking about?
I'm trying, but... I guess what I'm trying to tell you really is that I think if you wanted to come back home now, that'd be okay with me.
Oh, really? Did something change? I feel you just threw me out of the house. Why the sudden turn?
Well, yes. I did do that. But then with you gone, I guess I kind of realized just how much you did around the house. And how much there is to do without you. So I guess that's why.
I think you should just really say what you're actually thinking. It would save us both so much time. But if you're starting to see that managing a house all on your own is hard work, then yes. I completely agree with you. Therefore, I assume that you are unable to afford the rent and have reconsidered evicting me.
I mean, if you worded like that then.
You know, even if I decided to pass up on everything that Peter left me in the will and give it to you, I still don't think you'd have enough to be able to buy the house back from me anyways. And even if you used it to pay rent on this place, unless you found a job to help supplement that, you'd burn through your inheritance pretty quickly, I'd bet. And all of that is not even mentioning all the other expenses you'd be paying that weren't rent.
Well, yeah. That's kind of what I'm figuring out. And on top of that, it is so hard to keep a place this big clean. And I hate having to cook for myself every day. On top of all that, I have my classes and homework to worry about. Plus, I have to think of how I can afford the rent. It's just been making me feel ill both physically and mentally.
But of course it is. I figured that living on your own might be especially hard for someone like you. I hope the cooking is going well because I don't remember you helping out in the kitchen once ever. And yet for some reason you thought you were ready to maintain a whole house by yourself.
You're right. And I guess I just never realized all the things that you actually did do for all of us when we lived together. That's why I want to really sincerely apologize for the bratty attitude that I treated you with the other day. I promise to never throw you out of the house again. You always pretended not to see how I really felt about you. But I don't want you to do that anymore. I promise that I'll do my best to see that we get along. So please come back.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But I just apologized.
You hated me so much that you couldn't hold back from throwing me out of my own house, just days after your dad's funeral. And now you only want me to come back, because you're getting a taste of the real world, and you're realizing that it's not so easy on your own. I mean, have you put any thought into how you're going to go on like this?
But I apologized. I thought about what I did and realized just how much trouble I caused you over the years. Please, I'm sorry. What else can I say?
And I think that you're just saying that you're sorry. But the only real reason that you want me back is because you've realized how hard it is to do things on your own. So now you want the person that used to cook and clean for you to come back and do all that once again.
No. That's not true, I promise. I really do want to make up with you and try and be friends.
Well, that's the thing, Salim, I don't. I mean, come to think of it, I don't really have a single happy memory of interacting with you. I have worked so hard for so many years to try and get you to notice and appreciate me. But all you've done for the past 10 years is either ignore me or hurl abuse at me. You've only ever used my presence in this house for your own convenience. Even if you didn't realize it until just now. I really don't think I owe you the forgiveness you're looking for.
Please don't say that. Surely we can talk this out. Please. Mom. I'm begging you.
I thought you and I were nobody to each other. Anyways, I'll be expecting next month's rent soon. I'll send you my bank info soon, you can just make the payments through there. Okay, see you.
Wait. Please. It wasn't supposed to happen this way.
I apologize, I reflected on my actions. Please, come back to me. Salim repeatedly apologized, but it became evident that her underlying reasons were to avoid household chores and paying rent. Due to Salim's attitude, I reached out to Peter's older sister, who agreed to take Salim in and teach her some manners before college. After all, she raised 5 kids, 2 boys, 3 girls, who all are now exemplary adults. I had confidence in Peter's older sister's ability to teach Salim housekeeping, accounting, and manners. I'm taking care of their old empty house until the day Salim becomes independent and able to take care of herself. When that day comes, I plan to leave the house to her no strings attached and finally take my leave from her life. Although I don't wish to live with Salim again, as the daughter of the person I loved, I hope that she finds happiness in the future.
God. It's been such a crazy day. I just finished talking about the inheritance and completely exhausted. You know what? I think I'll stay at my parents' place today. I just don't have the energy. I want to stay here a bit and help Mom clear away some of Dad's stuff before coming back home. I'm sure you'll understand, right? It might take a while though. Dad left behind so much stuff I probably won't be back until tomorrow evening.
Yeah, I'm sure you're totally exhausted. No worries. How did everything go?
How did what?
You're talking about the inheritance. Yeah, the inheritance. What's the verdict? How much did your dad leave you? Surely, you'll be getting left quite a bit, right?
He left behind an apartment and a house. They're both quite old and we can do some renovation. But I have been told that in total, together they're worth around $400,000. It is quite good, right?
Wow, $400K. So what's the plan? What are you gonna do? You are gonna sell them, right?
No, I'm not going to do anything with them. As long as my mom is still around, I don't plan on touching any of it. I want to make sure that there's enough money if anything happens down the line. I don't want to do anything drastic now that I might regret later. Plus, both places are being rented out to people at the moment.
Wait, what? So basically what you're saying is you won't be getting any money?
Yeah. I mean, now is just not the right time to do anything with them. In fact, it's the opposite. Looks like we'll have to pay some tax on them. I'm not sure how it all works, so I speak with my mom and probably sort something out. No doubt. We'll leave that to the professionals.
What? Are you being serious? I'm expecting we can get some money at least. Do you remember I told you that we maybe go on a vacation? What you told really let me down.
What? What are you talking about? I don't get your attitude. Is that amount really important to you? How you could say something like that in after my dad passed away? Can't believe you can talk about money at this time?
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. But I mean it was like a month ago now. I thought that maybe you'd gotten over it by now.
Yeah, I am dealing with it a bit better now, but it's not something I can just forget and get over so quickly. These things take time and he was my dad, it's not a stranger. But saying you were getting excited about my dad's inheritance is kind of hurtful.
Oh, come on, Viv. I said I'm sorry. It's just my first time dealing with inheritance and stuff like that.
Anyway, the inheritance is not coming in the form of cash anytime soon. So don't get your hope up. It may come under my name, but just think of it as my mom's, okay?
Fine, I understand that.
Thinking about it though, we might be okay to go on vacation. After Mom's finished clearing things up, she was talking about maybe going somewhere together.
Oh really? That's great. Where were you thinking? We're definitely going abroad, right?
I'd like to leave it down to my mom. I want to make sure that it's somewhere she would feel comfortable going. So I'll wait instead of just choosing somewhere without speaking to her first.
If we were going abroad, I was thinking of learning the local language beforehand. What do you think about me bringing my parents too? It's not often an opportunity like this comes about. So why don't we all go and enjoy a vacation together as a family?
It's nice and all, but seeing as it will be my mom paying for it all, I think we can only afford to bring you along. I don't really want to make my mom pay for everything.
Come on, Vivian, I'm sure you can do something to convince her. We'll make sure you guys have a great time. If anything, it'll make you feel better.
My mom has been through a lot recently. I really don't want to cause a fuss.
It's about time I started doing something for my parents, and this vacation will be just the thing. I know they'd really appreciate it if I took them on vacation somewhere.
If that's the case, then shouldn't you be paying for them? If you want your parents to be truly grateful, surely it means more coming from you.
You know I don't have any money. Otherwise, I wouldn't be asking you.
It's not something so pushy about. If you want to do something for your parents, I guess I can try save some money to help out. You can send your parents to an all-inclusive resort or something as a present from us. I think they would be much happier if we paid to take them somewhere. We're both working, so I'm sure we'd save the money up in no time anyway. I think your parents wouldn't be happy about making my mom pay for everything.
My parents don't really care about whose money it is.
Honestly, I don't think it's right to ask my mom to pay for everyone to go on vacation. I think at the very least, we should pay for your parents to come along. Not my mom.
Thinking about it, if you inherited about $400K, then surely your mom got even more, right? So your mom will definitely be fine with taking everyone on vacation. I'm sure of that.
That's not really for you to decide though.
Anyway, just ask her and see what she says. Fine.
Fine, but don't have any expectations. Also, don't tell anybody about the inheritance, okay?
Vivian, you know that I'm not that type of person.
You start attracting attention from the wrong sort of people when you talk about money. Owen, where are you now? We need to talk.
I'm here, Viv.
I want to ask you something. I just got a phone call from your parents. They asked me about my inheritance from my dad.
What? Why would they call you about the inheritance?
Why did you tell them about the inheritance? I thought I asked you not to say anything. Don't you forget that you promised me you wouldn't say anything to anyone?
Well, they're my parents though. I thought it'd be okay. I mean, sharing everything with family wouldn't be a problem.
I don't really want you talking about the money. I'm pretty sure I told you not to think of the inheritance as mine. It's my mom's.
But I mean, in reality, you are the one who inherited it.
Even if that's the case, I told you I had no plans to do anything with it right now. Did you tell that part to your parents? They asked me whether they could live in either the apartment or the house.
I guess it's because my parents' house is pretty old at this point. If you were willing to rent out one of the places to my parents, I know that they'd be pretty happy.
I already told you, didn't I? The places that my dad left me are already being rented out to people. I told you that there are already people living in those places, so I can't sell or rent them out to anyone else.
Well, you became the landlord, right? So that means you can kick them out whenever you want.
Are you being serious? They have a contract. I can't just go kicking people out whenever I want to. These people are paying their rent. I can't just ask them to pack up and leave.
They're just strangers to you, right? You shouldn't have to worry about people you don't know. It's not like they've ever done anything for you.
Not done anything for me? Those strangers are providing us with income? How can you say things like that? And what's up with your parents lately? After telling them I can't rent any of the places to them, then they ask me if I could help them out with money.
My parents have been telling me that they want to move out as soon as possible. You sure there isn't anything you can do for them?
I can't do anything for them. I don't have that sort of money to be lending or helping.
Of course you do. You just inherited $400,000 and you could just sell one of the two places.
Are you even paying attention to anything I'm telling you? How many times do I have to repeat myself?
It's just that my parents need a little help. I would have thought that you'd be willing to lend them a hand, having come into a bit of cash and all. I'm sure you can spare a bit.
I get that, I really do now. The fact that you talking to them about my inheritance and all this money I have is wrong. I can't sell the properties. There won't be any money here. On top of that, I can't rent any of the properties out to them and I don't have any money to lend. Don't make me say it again.
Like I said, just sell one or both of the properties. I don't see what the big deal. If you do that, then not only will we have some money for ourselves, but we'd be able to help my parents out. Am I wrong?
Why are you even trying to use the inheritance my dad left to me? Your parents have their own house. Surely, there is something they can do. These properties my dad left aren't even new.
But they're still newer than the one my parents live in. If you can't rent the properties out to them, at least help them with some money. I'm sure that you're able to do that for them.
Forget it. I've had enough of talking about this.
Come on. Don't be like that. We're just talking.
I have enough of you and your parents. You guys are trying to get what you want and do whatever you like.
Yeah, how's that?
If I hadn't gotten any inheritance, we wouldn't have had any of these conversations in the first place, right? If they were really in need of some financial aid, I'm sure they would have said something a long time ago.
But things are different if you compare back then to now. Now we are sitting on such a big amount.
We don't have, nor can we use that money. Can you not get that through that thick skull of yours?
Stop being so cheap. Even your mom said she would take my parents on vacation. There's no point in talking it out with you. If you want to help out, then I'll go and ask your mom straight.
Are you being serious right now? You really think you're gonna go and ask my mom?
What other choice do I have? I never thought that you'd be so greedy and keep all the money to yourself. I just want to try and do something good for my parents after all that they've done for me. But you are trying to hog all the money. If it's gonna be like this, I gotta think, what's the point in being married?
What are you even talking about?
Forget it. I won't be expecting anything from you.
Hey Owen. You better stop going to my mom's and pestering her. On top of that, stop calling her.
Sorry about that, Vivian. My parents are so desperate to move out.
It's one thing to demand money from me, but trying to get money from my mom is going way too far. She's having a much harder time than I am with the fact that my dad is no longer there. Don't you get it? How can you and your parents keep doing something like this to her?
When you think about it, your dad, who can't be here with us anymore, it probably would have wanted you to spend that money on my parents. In fact, I'm sure he'd be happy to. The best way to spend that money would be to help people out.
That is for the person who has the money to decide, not for you to decide for them. The only way I see this is you and your parents are just pestering us for money.
Pestering for money? You got some nerve coming out with something like that.
I've got some nerve? It's me who should be saying that to you. I'm constantly getting calls from your parents while I'm at work. Only to then have them come over during the week just so they can pester us into helping them with money. All I get day in and day out is you guys talking about the inheritance. Even with all that, you've all recently decided to go and pester my mom. I've just had enough.
I think you're over-exaggerating a bit.
I don't think I can deal with this or you anymore. I've been thinking about it a lot recently.
What? You mean you want to split up? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Do you know what your parents are saying to me? They started shouting abuse at me, calling me all sorts of things like a money-grabbing rat. And you are agreeing to everything they do and say.
That's because it's the truth.
You going so far as to harass us because I said we couldn't give you any money. I know it was you who called my work and getting me to come to the phone only to hang up as soon as I get there. Even stooping so low is to the point you're throwing dog at my car. I bet that was your appearance, wasn't it? I hate to it, but I don't want to have anything to do with those kinds of people. I want a divorce.
A divorce? To be honest, that doesn't sound like such a bad idea. It's not like I want to get involved with a dirty money-grabbing woman like you anyways. Maybe I'll find myself someone much younger. Someone who will take care of my parents and be willing to help them out.
Well, you're ready to get on with this divorce then?
Yeah, sounds good to me. In returns, you will have to split the properties with me anyway. I can get away from this greedy money-grabbing psycho woman. Just in case you don't know, I'm not missing out on even 1 cent.
Yeah, I'll start getting everything ready for the divorce. Just make sure there's no messing about. I'll be sure to speak to some lawyers to make sure everything gets done properly.
You're quick to lawyer up.
I'm saying it one last time. Stay away from my mom and don't ever call her or try to in contact with her again. Understand? If anything happens from here on out, I'll report everything as harassment to the police.
Don't worry about that. I just want to hurry up and get this divorce over with. I think you need to move it and start getting things ready. Viv, we need to talk.
What?
About the meeting before the divorce.
Yeah, so what? You don't want to come?
No, I mean, my parents will be sitting in on it.
Right, whatever.
By the way, I heard the house you inherited burnt down. I guess this is what you get for being so greedy with your money. I guess somebody out there is taking notes of your wrongdoings. Maybe you will have learned your lesson from this and it'll teach you how to treat others with respect in the future.
This is very rich coming from your mouth. You do realize that everything was caught on CCTV, right?
What are you talking about? What was caught on where?
CCTV, closed-circuit television, you know that? You and your parents are all caught in the video setting fire to the house. It's so clear.
Wait, what?
Looks like you guys are finished. Here you are running your mouth like you've done nothing wrong.
Are you being serious right now? I am sure there were no cameras around.
Wow, did you really just admit that? The guy who rents it out from us told us as soon as everything happened. Not only did you set fire to the place, but before all that you even harassed tenant who lives there. Because of that, the cameras were installed just in case anything happened. You're just rotten to the core. I would have never believed you'd be capable of something like this. Did it ever go through your mind what you would have done had the person who lived there died?
That's why we tried to make sure we did it when there was no one at home.
How would you even know that? Someone could have easily entered that house or come home without you guys ever even noticing.
So you mean you'd report this case to the police, right?
The fact that you knew the house went up in flames surely means you know the police in the fire department were also there. To answer your question, of course, I handed all the videos to the police.
You really did that? You know we only did it as like a sort of a small prank. We didn't mean to cause any harm or anything.
What? How is that a prank?
But we didn't mean it. That should count for something. Are you trying to say that we're gonna get locked up?
Isn't it obvious at this point? Don't you realize the weight of the crime that you committed? It's a criminal offense and straight jail time.
Come on, what we did wasn't that serious. We were just trying to get you shaken up a little bit. Like, get back at you and nothing serious. That house you were given is close to the station. It was also in a prime location. So, we thought that if we could get the tenant renting from you to move out, then I thought that maybe you might consider lending it to us.
I will never rent that place out to you. Wouldn't make any sense to since you'll be going to jail soon.
What should I do? What do you want me to do? Just say it. I'm sorry for what I did. Really, I'm sorry, Viv.
You guys have crossed a line. You shouldn't have, and now there is no going back. All of you, a family of criminals.
Wait, What?
I couldn't help you anything. Also, I don't want to hear anything from you either. If you do, you can talk the policeman. So now, bye. You should look forward to the subpoena.
No, Vivian. No.
After that, Owen's whole family were caught. They stood in court and faced criminal charges sentencing them to prison. The one who faced the harshest charges was the mother-in-law who had planned it all. Until now, I just don't believe why they even dared to set fire to my house. This family's greediness is truly bottomless.